This is part 1 of lecture 4, and our topic for this part is idea. I'm Andrea Mackenzie, and welcome back to WRIT 10,003. When you look at this photograph by Harold Edgerton, what do you see? Take a moment to look and guess. Some people think it's a sculpture. Some think it's a column of ice. In actuality, it's water running from a tap in a laboratory. Here's another one of Edgerton's photographs. What do you think this one is? Take a moment to look and think about what you think his photograph represents. Edgerton's photograph is titled Milk Drop, Corona. It's a photo of the corona that forms when a drop hits a liquid surface, in this case, milk. This photograph was included in the very first exhibition of photographs held at the Museum of Modern Art in New York in the early 1930s, the first time photography was recognized as an art form. Edgerton's photos are based on small, routine things that we do daily. Run a tap, pour a glass of milk. His genius is to show us these small, routine things in a different way, to make us stop, look, and think. He stopped time in photography and thus opened a whole new way of looking. And how did he do this? Edgerton had the idea of stopping time with a camera. How did Edgerton stop time with a camera? It had never been done before in such a way as to freeze running water or capture that milk corona. Edgerton was an engineer, and he developed the stroboscopic flash, a repeating flash that lit for a microsecond and repeated a microsecond later. He didn't start from scratch. Instead, he built his new device based on what other people had done and developed, and he added something new to that. He had a new idea, and so he came up with a new device that could stop time with the camera. Edgerton had to build towards that idea, though, by learning what other people had done. And it took much work to fill in the gap between current knowledge and what he saw in his mind, his idea. It took pages of equations and much thought and reflection and much experimentation and adjustment. But he did do it. He captured his idea and he did stop time. And then he worked to enhance his photographic technique. He revised, he reflected, he took more photos, he polished. And what did this lead to? The ability to see in detail how birds fly. How golf players swing. A myriad of discoveries. Over the decades, others built on this technique, and it was applied to any number of fields. Why am I showing you this? Because the heart of academics is to build on others' work, to contribute to an ongoing conversation, to give us a new perspective or a fresh look, something that no one else has told us before. This can seem frightening, being expected to tell us something new. And yes, I expect you to do that in the first essay you build for this course. But I also want to point out that you don't have to change the world to be able to contribute a fresh idea. Edgerton's photos are of the routine matters of every day. Turning on a tap, pouring a glass of milk. He just showed them to us in a new way so that we notice them. You can do the same thing. Your scene shows us a moment of time in your daily life. Use it, along with thought, reflection, and other writers' ideas, to build a fresh perspective or a new way of seeing whatever concept you're exploring. Jacob Bronowski, in his essay, The Nature of Scientific Reasoning, speaks of Copernicus and how he came to his realization that the planets orbit the sun rather than the sun orbiting the Earth. Here's the way Bronowski describes it. Copernicus found that the orbits of the planets would look simpler if they were looked at from the sun and not from the Earth. But he did not, in the first place, find this by routine calculation. His first step was a leap of imagination to lift himself from the Earth and put himself wildly, speculatively into the sun. Bronowski illustrates this concept through William Blake's painting Glad Day, which he feels epitomizes this leap of imagination into the sun, into a new way of looking and of seeing. And that is what education, what idea, what thinking is all about. Moving away from routine thinking, from routine calculations, and through a leap of imagination, putting yourself into other writers' ideas, and from there, leaping to your own thoughts and your own ideas. Once you find the delight of being able to do just that, make a leap of imagination and explore and discover, you will never stop. It takes an open mind, it takes being willing to explore, and it takes hard work. Thinking is never easy. But you can do it if you try. I know you can. Show us that you can in the essay you're building now. Take a risk, make a leap of imagination, and show us a new way of seeing or thinking about your world. This is how you build idea, moving from evidence to idea, with the next step being essay. It begins with the scenes of experience, the scene of memory that you wrote, and the thought and reflection that I've been trying to teach you. That's how you reach idea. In the second part of the lecture, I want to review thought reflection, which is exactly where you take your leap of imagination. It takes practice, and from what I've seen so far, most of you still aren't quite sure what it looks like or how to do it. In the meantime, consider what I've just said. Think about that phrase, leap of imagination. What does it mean to you when you think about learning and knowledge and education? See you soon.